think one of the ways that we can reconnect with people who we've lost touch with is to show that we love them, show that we care about them, show that we want them to be part of what we're doing. And I think as churches, perhaps we've assumed we know what people want. We've assumed that we know people's needs. And then we lay on these activities or put on these events, and we don't know why these people don't come. So I think the first thing we need to do is to listen, to contact them, to show that we want to be in a connection with them, to show that we want to hear from them, and then have genuine conversations about where are they at in terms of their faith walk, in terms of their life walk. Where are the tensions and struggles? Is there just no way at all that they can ever make it on a Sunday morning? But if we do something with them on a Sunday afternoon, actually, is that a much better way? Or is there something we could do midweek? Are they unable to physically come to something, but they'd love to tune in online, even when we can meet? Are there things that we could do online? And so perhaps they struggle with big groups. Perhaps we could think about matching them up, partnering them with another family or another child. Could we do some small group work? So I think genuinely listening to where children and families are at is so key. Then we can show that we love and care because we know what they genuinely want and need in order to thrive in their faith journey.
How can we reconnect with lost families? Well, interestingly, a lot of messy churches have picked up new families rather than losing the old ones. But I think there's a couple of things. I think the lockdown has reminded us of the importance of keeping records, so that actually the messy churches that have had good records and know how to get in contact with their families by text or email, or they know their addresses, have been able to support them much more during lockdown than those of us who've just had a list of names and we know they live round about somewhere, but we're not quite sure where. So good record keeping, I think, will be a way forward. And I think when we get back into face-to-face meetings, it's going to be good old publicity, putting our backs into advertising locally on Facebook and getting out to the school playground when schools open up again, and chatting to people, telling them, dropping leaflets through doors, putting posters up, having a banner, all the hard work stuff that is really effective. It's going to be word of mouth in the end, but putting our backs into some publicity will be important. And really interesting that some initiatives have come about explicitly for meeting the needs of the families who might have been who have dropped off the horizon perhaps a little bit during lockdown. We're really looking forward to Messy Church Goes Cyber, which is a very deliberate digital church plant, not starting from a face-to-face base, but going online explicitly and deliberately to meet the needs of families who can't do face-to-face for whatever reason. So yeah, lots to look forward to.
Well, we could phone them, email them, write to them, and remind them that we're reintroducing all meetings that serve cake. Cake. I love cake.
Hello, I'm Nick Jackson from powerpackministries.co.uk. I just want to reflect on how do we reconnect with some of those families and children that we have lost during this period of time. Well, the first thing that made me think about was what made them attend when we used to attend. What made them attend? It would have been a sense of routine. It would have been a sense of meeting other people who they connect with and find fellowship with. It could have been a sense of encountering God and being fed and being encouraged by the teaching and the worship. Or it could have been those moments where they just knew God was close to them. It might have been the actual act of coming into the building or the hall or wherever it was that they had a connection with other people in the room and with God. So how do we get back there? How do we help them receive these things again? Well, fellowship has got to be one of those things, whichever group it was. So how do we reconnect with fellowship? How do we draw the people that were in the room to encourage them to come back to come and rejoin in. And I think there's an opportunity as we come out of COVID and we invite people to join in, to remind them of the reasons that they attended and what they receive when they're there. We need to set up places for encounter so people can meet with God and find that challenge from Him to change things and live life to its fullness in so many different ways. And I think people need an opportunity to engage and participate. I think one of the drawbacks of this period of time is we've been spectators. And actually, I think the groups, the live groups, the face-to-face groups allow participation and a chance to engage in different ways and to use our gifts. So how do we invite the people we've lost back in? I think we set things up, we do invitations, we do personal things to draw them back in. We ask them what's been a struggle during this period of time and why they want to rejoin. So I don't know, as you think about your different groups, what's going to help you bring those people who we've missed during this period of time back in. But let me encourage you to do that, because God always looks for the lost. God always restores. God always heals relationships. God is a good God, and He wants His lost people in, and we're part of that story.
Hi, I'm Amy.
And I am Matt.
And it's really great to be able to share at Hand in Hand conference this year on how we reconnect with families and children that we may have lost in this pandemic moment. You know, for me and for our context, I can just think of 3 points. What it looks like to love on children and families, what it looks like to learn from them, and then what it looks like to lead with them. And when it comes to loving with them, I just think about things like simple visitations, blessing them, bringing just a little bit of something that will just cheer up their day, from the smallest of gifts to the more intentional ones. What would it look like to love on the families that we've lost in this season? And secondly, to learn from them. You know, we just can't presume to understand what families and children are going through in this moment. And I think taking time to listen, taking time to be pastoral is absolutely key in this moment. So we just encourage you to do that, even if it's through something more formal like a questionnaire that just really helps you to understand about what are the pressures and the strains for them in family life at this moment in time. And then I guess once you've gathered all that intelligence and had that connected moment in love, lead with them, help to support them through the pressures of homeschooling, help to support them through the pressures of developing spirituality in their families and in their home contexts. And from that place, we just really hope we'll see them reconnected.
Awesome. 3 L's from Amy, 2 P's from me. The first is to pray. Just really want to encourage us all that actually prayer really, really makes a difference. And, one of the things that I tend to pray for people who have distanced themselves from God, or prodigals, or who are not close, is I pray for hard hearts to be softened, to closed minds to be opened, for blind eyes to see and deaf ears to hear. Pray every day, bring them before the throne room of God and see what God will do. And then secondly, just to persevere, to keep on keeping on. There's a lovely version of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, I think it's verse 55 or 58. It's the very, very last verse, where in the Message version it basically says, look, keep on keeping on. Nothing that you ever do for the Lord is a waste of time or effort. So keep believing, keep trusting, keep persevering. However many years or even decades it takes, God wants to see people saved, and He wants to work through you.
Yeah, so we hope you have a great conference at Hand in Hand. We're cheering you all on, and God bless.
Yeah, God bless, folks. Keep going.